Welcome. This episode is going to hit really hard for quite a few people. And you can see that even I struggle a bit with this at times. I want to talk about how having a job doesn't cancel your business. When we have a job, there's this quiet pressure that a lot of us can carry when you're actually building something of your own while still working a job. Like somehow you're not allowed to call yourself a business owner yet. Like it only counts once the job is gone. And like the in between somehow makes it less real. That space you're in right now isn't a contraindication, contraction, I can't say. It's not, it's not a problem. It's actually part of the foundation. And the truth is, it is a far more common starting point than most people will actually want to admit. This is a phase where you're building your beautiful business. And I really want to emphasize how important it is for you to let go of that shame that you may feel around having a job and growing a business. When you're building a business while you still work, it doesn't take away from the business. It often makes it possible in the first place, especially in those early stages. That income that you're getting gives you breathing room. And this means that your decisions can come from clarity instead of urgency or fear. You're not splitting yourself in half. You're simply in a season where one part of your life is funding the next. And even if it doesn't feel glamorous, it's often the most stable way to build something that actually lasts. Even when that part makes sense logically, the emotional load often shows up somewhere else entirely. And there is an emotional load when we've got a business and we have a job as well. And there's real pressure in how both of these roles overlap. The hardest part usually isn't the workload itself, but the constant mental switching between two very different roles. Now, when I started my business, I was still working in the medical field. You can imagine how that worked for me. I ran on adrenaline when I was in the medical field. What did I think I needed to do when I was working on my business? Run on adrenaline. Well, that doesn't work. And that's where you need to learn how to switch that mental load. You want to switch, between your job and then running your beautiful business. And when you start developing routines on how to actually do that, things will become easier. It can feel like your attention is never fully with your business long enough to build real momentum. It can feel like that. It's not necessarily the case though. And over time, that split focus can create fatigue. Not because you're doing too much, but because your mind never fully is in one or the other. It's never fully at your job or it's never fully in the business. You're always thinking of one or the other when you're working on one or the other. When this happens, it can quietly start to feel like you're falling behind. There is no such thing as falling behind. Everything has a season, everything has timing. And you might think you're falling behind, even when you're actually building steadily. This is where stopping, this is where pausing, this is where reflection is good. When you feel like you're falling behind, this is where things can get tricky because the overlap can start to change the story you tell yourself about what is actually happening. And you're going to have a mindset shift when you start to stop listening to other people. You'll stop listening to coaches that are telling you you're doing the wrong thing by having a job, that you're not serious about your business because you've got a job. You're blah. There's just so much out there. And you can see, if you're watching, you can see I'm rubbing my head in frustration because I am frustrated over those so-called coaches that think you have to let go of a job and go all in. The reality is, at the moment, we are living in a world where expenses have gone through the roof. Food is expensive. If you're in Australia, petrol went crazy. And I mean, really crazy. And I mean, for a lot of people, that means they are not taking trips that they would normally take. And that puts a stress on you. That's why if you've got a job and you're building a business, let go of the shame of it. Let go. There's a mind shift that can change everything. Your job is not a measure of how serious you are about your business. I'm getting teary about this because it really does frustrate me when coaches and that say something. I want to say this again. Your job is not a measure of how serious you are about your business. It's simply part of your current structure. And if you continue to have a job and run your business and you do it for 10 years, I want you to embrace that. Embrace that, because if that works for you, then do it. I want you to do it. Your business doesn't become real at some future milestone. It's already real in the way you are showing up for it now. You gave birth to it. You gave it a name. You registered your business name. You maybe even got a domain name, like you went out and got the domain name. All of that makes your business real. And you don't need to wait until everything lines up perfectly before you can own the identity of being a business owner. What you're building counts even in the messy middle, especially there, because that's where most things are actually formed. And again, I want to emphasize, having a job does not cancel out your business. In fact, it may even make it so much better because you may have some extra money to put into, hire certain people to help you get your business going. Let go of the shame. Stop listening to coaches, mentors, people on social media that talk about having a job is wrong and anything like that. I want you to unfollow those people. Block them if necessary, especially if their comments are nasty. One of the biggest things I've heard is you're not serious about your business because you've got a job. Your business will go nowhere because you've got a job. Like, let go of those people. You don't need to listen, and I'm going to say, you don't need to listen to that crap. It is absolute crap. Remember, this is your business, and you get to run it your way and in your time. It's your business, not theirs. They might be a coach, but that doesn't make them a great coach. A great coach will support you, will listen to you, and will reflect things back so you have huge awareness. They will not tell you what to do unless you're specifically getting a coach maybe for Facebook ads or a coach that's going to help you with maybe YouTube or something like that. That's a bit different. They'll tell you what to do. You still have the right to turn around and say, no, that doesn't feel right. You still got that. And just to land all of this properly, you don't need to rush out of your job to prove anything. You don't need to compress your business into the scraps of your time to justify it either. This phase is an integration. Two things existing at once while something new quietly forms in the background. And if it feels slow at times, that doesn't mean it's not working. It usually just means it's building something that actually has weight to it. Again, Stop listening to coaches or anyone that tells you that having a job and running your business is wrong. Thank you so much for watching and listening, for liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing. All of that really supports me as a small business owner. I truly, truly appreciate it. Thank you and wishing you a wonderful day wherever you are in this gorgeous world.